there will be a mission collection tomorrow, both in the morning and in the evening. And if you come at both times, it's a one-time offering. And if you're not coming tomorrow, we'd like to leave an offering. We have a little basket at each entrance. We don't have a fee for our mission, so we're not paid by the parish. We depend upon your generosity to continue our missionary work and the missionary work of Redemptor. There are envelopes at both entrances. If you'd like to write a check, you can write it out either to Father Paul Ryan or Redemptor's Parish Mission, which is in the left-hand corner of the envelope. So we thank you for your generosity. We ask our God to continue blessing on each and every one of you and all your loved ones. So now let us pray a prayer of thanksgiving on page 50 in the mission booklet. Page 50. Together we pray. Almighty God, Father of all mercies, we, your children, give you our heartfelt thanks for all your goodness and kindness to us. We bless you for creating us and preserving us in life. Above all, we bless you for the bountiful love you have shown the world in sending your only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, that we might not perish but have eternal life. We thank you for the teaching of this gospel, for the power of this cross, for the sacramental signs of his word in the present life, and for the sure hope of eternal life with him. In Jesus' name and for his sake, we ask you, dear Father, send your Holy Spirit upon us to give us a new appreciation of all your mercies, so that our hearts may truly be thankful. Grant that your praises may be ever upon our lips and in our hearts. May we give ourselves to your service in serving others, and walk before you humbly and gratefully all our days. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Good morning again. Yesterday we talked about the challenge of discipleship for forgiving others. And the best way to forgive others is not to work on it within ourselves where all our feelings are hurt, but to make ourselves pray for them and wish them well and ask God to bless them. And act of the will, not of the feelings, certainly against our feelings. And then God will take care of the feelings. Today we're going to talk about Paschal mystery. Take up your cross daily, the sufferings of life, and facing them or not facing them. The athletes understand this kind of mystery in a way because if they want to win a medal at the Olympics, boy, they train, right? They train. Some of those runners run so much that they throw up. The pain is so bad, but they push through it. And pushing through it, they become stronger and better. And that's basically the message of the Paschal mystery. Working through the pains of life with God, letting the bitterness go, and letting their memories go, and so forth. It's possible with God's grace, and God does it for us. So, Gilbert Keith Chesterton, he said, Christianity has not been tried and found wanting. It's been found hard and not been tried. Mahatma Gandhi, his message was basically the message of the Beatitudes, excuse me, and fraud keeps coming. Beatitudes and the nonviolence of Jesus. He learned that message from Tolstoy, the Russian writer. But he had the whole Christian message, and he preached it better than many Christians. But he couldn't accept Jesus because he didn't meet too many Christians who really lived it. And you can see in South Africa, many of the leaders who were named Christian, with apartheid and everything, there wasn't much Christianity there. But he had one good friend, Charlie Andrews, who's an Anglican priest who really lived it. C.S. Lewis says that if you're looking for a comfortable religion, I wouldn't suggest Christianity. The Buddhists, I think, they withdraw from pain, don't they? That's their approach to withdraw. And our approach is to eat it up and spit it out as Jesus did. Good Friday, the time came and he went out. On Holy Thursday night, he was ready, and he faced it. burden of all our sins and sweat and blood. Whatever insights you get today about dealing with this, remember what you do. Bring them right to the Lord. Don't take them on. Oh boy, Hey, we've had them so long that we have to admit helplessness. Whatever it is, and we admit it, and we say, "You're not helpless, God. You want to help me? Yes, I can because I'm not going anywhere unless you do it." I remember hearing the story, excuse me, of three pastors, and they all had the same problem. They were talking, and they realized they all had bats in the bell towers of their churches. They said, "What do you do about it?" The first one said, "I'm ashamed to tell you." He said, "I got so enraged that I went out and bought a shotgun. And I went in and blasted away, and I got some of them. Didn't do much good for the roof. But you know what? They all come back." The second one said, "Well, I'm much more humane about it." He said, "I get a fishing net, come in, capture them, drive them out of the country 50, 60 miles, let them go. You know what? They all come back." The third one said, "Well, I'm not humane about it." He said, "I'm spiritual. I get a fishing net, capture them, take them into church, and I baptize them. And they only come back on Christmas and Easter." It's sad that there's some truth in that. M. Scott Peck wrote a book that was on the bestseller list of books for many years called The Road Less Traveled. Perhaps you've read it. He took the name from a Robert Frost poem, "Two roads merged in the woods, and I took the one less traveled that made all the difference." The beginning of the book, the first line says, "Life is difficult at times. If you can face it and work through those difficulties, you're going to be a much more wholesome, much more developed human being, and he'd say a much more saintly person." But he named it The Road Less Traveled. He was a psychiatrist, religious book, but he said because most of the people who came to him didn't want to really go work through it. They wanted a medication and a little bit of help so that they could cope. They didn't really want to go through the hard work of getting into the depths of where it came from, the hurts of life and so forth. Jesus said, "Narrow is the way that leads to life, and few there are that attain it." Now, that doesn't mean going to heaven. If it did, God wills the salvation of all. We say that at the prayer, "Everybody who died in your mercy," right? We pray the prayer in the rosary, they lead all souls to heaven. That's what God wants. It means more, I think, life in this world. Psychologists say that we're lucky if we develop 10% of our potential. George Maloney, a Jesuit writer, he said, "You're lucky if you develop 4%. I don't know where they get the percentages, but if you look back in your life, I think of times if I had worked through things and faced them, faced the pain, I would have been a much stronger person, much healthier." And all of us can do that. We know that with a lot of potential. Einstein said he thinks he developed 25%. Maybe his brain, I don't know about the rest of it, In facing these things, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is another little DNA psychiatrist, but she had a lot of insight into how we face this and how we run away from it. She said there's 5 basic steps when you face pain. And she gave the example of being told you have terminal cancer. You don't have much time to live. That's pain. And what we do, the first thing is we deny it. "Oh no, doctor, that can't be me. You must have the wrong X-ray. I don't feel that bad, Or the state trooper calls up and says, "Mrs. Jones, you have a daughter named Ellen. I'm sorry to tell you there's been a tragic accident." "Where was that accident?" "Well, it can't be my daughter. She was nowhere near there, I remember as a little kid when I was scared, I said, "Hey, it's not there, right? Block it out." We all know about denial, right? People throw it around all the time. She's in denial, he's in denial, so forth, The second step is when you can't deny it anymore, keep it out there. Don't let it in because it hurts too much. Be angry. That's what anger keeps it out there. When we're afraid, we get angry, If people say something to us, we get angry. And, that drunk driver. You see people, they're stuck in that. They're stuck in their whole life. They just blame somebody else and they can't face it. Some people blame their parents. It's a very low level of existence, And the third level is let it into the head. Try to see some good in it. Well, she was a good girl. Maybe it was good that she died. where she was in such union with God. Maybe if she had broken away and she died then, it wouldn't have been so good. That type of stuff. And they say that you can bargain in that time. God, give me some more life and I'll be good, that type of thing. The fourth step is just facing it, the pain. She's dead. She was becoming like a younger sister. We like to go out and shop together and have lunch together. I hope she would have children. I could enjoy her children. Oh God, I'm empty. I'm bleeding on the inside. And the third step, with God's grace, we work through it. And people say you never work through it, but they don't know. A lot of people work through it and they can tell you. With God's grace, you work through it, and you're a stronger person afterwards. You're a stronger person once you work through it. And because you're bigger, you need more life. So God gives us new life. The 5 steps of Jesus would be this. He died, terrible death and passion and death. He was raised up, the second step, to give new life. The third step, he gave his followers 40 days to get used to the fact he was not going to stay with them in the same form. And he told Mary Magdalene, I'm sure she just leaped on him when he found out he was alive and hugged him. And finally he said, he probably let her hug her for a while there. And finally he said, don't cling to me, because I'm not going to stay in this form. I will stay in the Eucharist all days. I will stay dwelling within you. I will be with 2 or 3 of you gathered in my name. I will speak to you through Scripture. I'll stay in many, many ways, but not this way. This way is limited to 6 feet of man, and I want to hit billions of people. I find ways to do that. When the fourth step is when they let him go at the ascension, he blesses them. There was a blessing when we let go. We move on. And the fifth step, they needed new life, and he sent them the Holy Spirit. For us, the 5 steps are some terrible experience. It could be the death of someone we love. It could be sickness. It could be financial disaster. How am I going to live, and so forth. It could be somebody ruins your reputation. You know that it's stuff that really sucks the life out of you. They call that Paschal death. You're still alive. Second step, you're alive, but you're not fully alive because it's sucking the life out of you. And the third step is God gives you time to work through it. And the more we invite God in, the faster we work through it. And if we want to let go, if somebody hurt us and we finally forgive them, the fourth step is a blessing in letting go. And the fifth step, we need new life. God gives us the new share of the Spirit. If you notice, Jesus, he didn't do the first 3 steps. He never denied that he was going to die. His disciples were in denial, weren't they? And Peter said, God forbid that this happen to you. What did Jesus say? He reprimanded him. Get behind me, Satan, he said. It's hard enough facing this without my good best friend trying to talk me out of it. And he never blamed anybody. He had people he could have blamed. He could have blamed the Romans. The Roman governor says, I find no guilt in him, therefore whip him and crucify him. Was that just? But he said, Father, get them, The high priest brought in people to lie about him. What he said, get them, What did he do? On the cross he said, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. And he never rationalized it. When the time came after he gave this great gift on Holy Thursday, the great gift of himself that he's going to stay with us in the Eucharist, he went out to face it. Took a couple of friends along. I hope they'd help him, but they fell asleep. That's the process that God wants us to work through, And why? Because he wants us to be happier in this life. And he also wants us to help people along the way. And he wants to make us ready for when we die, the work is finished. If it's not finished, that's what purgatory is about. It's unfinished work. It's not punishment. In the Second Vatican Council, one of the great works was Lumen Gentium, the light of the nations. The 5th chapter is called the universal call to holiness. When I was young, I got the impression that priests and sisters were called to a higher holiness than other people. Well, this chapter threw that all out. It just said everybody is called to holiness. Holiness is what we need in heaven, so everybody's called to it. There's no higher or anything. There's different ways to it, but we'll all call to that. And he defined holiness in a way that I think fits in with this paschal mystery. Holiness is dealing with the stuff of your life with faith and love. Dealing with the stuff of your life. Not denying it, not blaming somebody else. Taking up your cross, facing it, but not alone. With faith you bring God into it. And you try to be as kind and loving as during the process of pain. Dealing with the stuff of life. So what's the stuff? The stuff is Sometimes maybe it's our fault, maybe it's somebody else's fault that it doesn't work. For example, maybe a parent or a spouse is slipping away into dementia or Alzheimer's, and how do you handle it? Well, you'd like them to be the person you always can talk to and relate to, and they're not. They're slipping away. They may be even changing their personality. They may be becoming mean, and they weren't ever mean before, And you get angry at them, right? Because you need them, you want them. And so what you do is you bring God into it, okay? And you talk to God. You say, God, please help me to know my mother can't help it. She's slipping away into this dementia. Help me not to need her what she was, because she can't give what she was. Help me to give up that need. Help me to accept that she's sick, and that's no problem. And help me be patient with her. And that is holiness, because you're bringing the Holy One in. You alone are the Holy One. Bringing you in on this, Lord. And God is molding us with this prayer. And He listens. And little by little, He'll give us patience and distance. We have to get distance. You can't have that closeness anymore. The person is somewhere hidden in there. It could be younger people. For us who are faith, the greatest gift we can give anyone is a gift of faith, by our example and by teaching. Because life is, when you get older, you realize life isn't so long. Life is short. And life is about learning to know and love God, to surrender to God, and ask God's grace that will be good. And you give them the faith, and then they stop going to church. They stop having their children baptized or what. It hurts. It hurts. Now, how do you handle it? Well, you bring God into it. God, please help me to know that you love them more than I do, that you're going to save them. Help me not to be afraid they're going to be lost. That they may be going through this stage, but they'll be open to you when necessary. They're going to be saved. Help me not to nag, Lord. They know how I feel. I've expressed that. They know what I think. But help me not to nag. It doesn't do any good. And God gives you patience. That's the idea. You don't have to keep saying it. There's kind of a principle here. The truth with love, okay? If the truth is not going to help, then you don't have to say it. It's going to do more harm. It's going to alienate and put people away. Once you've said it, don't keep pounding on it. The love says, be patient, be kind, wait on it now. And then, hopefully, if they come back, they come back into you very easily because you didn't keep pounding on them. They come back, they don't even want you to know because they don't want you to, whatever, say, I told you so, or whatever. It could be anything. It could be health, right? You're sick. My father died of melanoma. My oldest brother died of renal cancer. My younger brother died of pancreatic cancer. I got cancer, What do you think? In my time. I brought God into it and said, God, please, I don't want to die, but free me and give me peace so that if I die, I will die with fear, and make me ready for what you bring me to. And I guess I had to cut cancer. They could do something with this stuff. It's been 6 or 7 years now. It could be finances. Sorry about the frog. It could be finances, especially in this day and age. Some people are really suffering. I bet you're touched by it. As parents of younger people, sometimes your savings doesn't rain probably. It can be very painful, And to bring God into it. Say, God, help me not to worry so much. Help me to do what I should do. Try to get a job. Help me to do this, But the worry doesn't do any good. But we know it's not, you can't say don't worry. But you bring God into it, God will free you from the worry, And then you have more energy for doing what you can do, There are many other things, like forgiveness. We talked about that yesterday. Bring God into it. God, I can't let go of this. I'm helpless, but you aren't, and please do something about it. And you, in the process, you also say to God, bless that person. Bless them out there, and God will take care of this. You say, bless that person with every blessing. Act pure unto the will. Try to mean it. God will free you inside. It could be lust. God took a risk in making us so attracted to each other. But that's what love's about. still has trouble with that, hey, God, please help me. I know it's very attraction. Help me to channel this so I'm not selfish about it and self-centered. That it'll be in more in relationship. It's holy. You may not feel holy, but it's holy because you're bringing the Holy One into it. And fear, some of us are very anxious people, and Jesus said, why are you afraid of your little faith? Lord, give me deeper faith. Deeper faith, maybe your fear will fall away. I think of a little thing you might do if you have a lot of fear. You might want to touch Jesus. And remember the woman touched Jesus with faith and she was healed? Well, at communion time, you might want to go inside and say, Jesus, hold me. Free me from fear, Hold my face and look in my eyes and get in there and free me from what causes my fear. You keep doing something like that and grace does work. That's how God wants us to do. I'll end up with this grief, okay? What about grief? Well, the best example I ever heard of grief was when a tree is pulled down by a hurricane. It has deep roots, it leaves a big gaping hole in the earth. If someone belongs to us and they're torn out of our life, it leaves a big, not a muddy hole, but a bloody hole. And it's handled by the 3 T's. The first 2 T's are you got to talk about it and tear. That's grief work. And then time will heal. That's the talk and tear. It's if a surgeon removes a cyst, they usually don't sew it right over. They leave it open so the poison can come out and the good flesh goes in, then it really heals, right? So we got to get the poisons out. Many times I've listened to people wondering, well, now he knows, now she knows this or whatever. And I say, well, he's got the mind of God now. He's very compassionate, so he's not judging you. Life is still living. You can help people a little bit with that, But we just sometimes have to say it over and over until we're tired of it. That means we're healed. That's why a lot of grief work can be done at wakes. You can tell. You see how many people come when it's a young person around the block. There's lines, because and you can do a lot of grief work by talking about it. And if you have a viewing, I hear people say, I have a good friend up in Cape Cod, and she says, I don't want people looking at me. I'm going to be cremated and I want to be gone, I said, you're not going to be there. The charitable thing is to let them have a chance to do their grief. It's easier to do real good grief work when you can see the reality. A lot of grief work goes on when we're looking at the corpse and talking about it. We faced it, we worked through it. Now that's the charity of it. And also we can be good listeners for people. If people want to talk about it, us men sometimes when women cry, we get a little fidgety. It'd be better if we just said, cry. Here's the Kleenex. It's good for you. That's what I wanted to do as a counselor and spiritual director. It's good for you to cry. Here. And it goes away much faster than you fight it and say, I don't want to cry, But that's how we help people, in our grief work. And if people are still grieving the same 5 years later, they didn't do their grief work. I'm afraid I don't know anybody to say that to them directly, because I wouldn't say it directly like that. But if you do your grief work, it can be healed, but you will become a wounded healer. Other people going through grief, they feel no one has ever experienced this, and you can tell them, well, it's pretty tough, and I know it. How do you know? And you tell them your story. And then they know you know, and they're healed because they say someone understands. That's part of it. And well, why does God do this for us? Well, first of all, they say to make us happier as we live. He wants us more free. And secondly, he wants us to help people along the way. And thirdly, he wants to make us ready for when we die. I'm going to end up with 2 stories to put this together. One's a real old story. You probably heard some girl from the line. There was a cathedral in the Second World War, and it was bombed. Some soldiers went in, and they looked for the crucifix that had been up over the high altar. Perfect example of a huge crucifix that's hanging. And they dug through the rubble, and they couldn't find it right away. But they did finally find the wooden cross, and they pulled that out. And they looked for the body, the corpus that had been on it, and they only found part of it. It had been plaster of Paris, and it had been smashed. The legs were gone, the hands were gone, the arms, and the head. But they put the torso, they found that, put it up on the cross, and for Jesus put a little sign. I no longer have feet to get to people who need me. Shut-ins, people in prisons and hospitals, people who need communion brought to them. You'll be my my feet. I no longer have hands to reach out to feed the hungry, to bandage the wounds of people, to caress. Give me my hands. I no longer have a head with the eyes to see the beautiful things my Father created, to praise Him for it, to see people in need and to do something about it. I no longer have ears to hear the sounds of music, the sounds of the baby crying, the sounds of the ocean crashing on the seashore, the sounds of people's voices when they've been hurt and they have to tell their story to be healed and brought back into the human race. You listen for me. I no longer have a voice to speak words of wisdom, words of encouragement, words of forgiveness. You be my voice. We are the body of Christ, and to the extent we work on letting Him free us out, we're going to be pretty good instruments. To the extent we're lost in our pain, and we're probably not going to be much of a good instrument. So there's two sides of the coin. We work with Him, and He frees us up. Francois de Mauriac said, if we don't burn with love, some people will die of the cold. That's so God frees us so we can give that love that people need along the way. The last story is musical. Perhaps we have some opera buffs here, know a lot about opera. I know a little about it. Giacomo Puccini was a great opera writer. He wrote Madame Butterfly, Tosca, La Boheme, Johnny Schicchi, great operas. And in 1922, he was writing his last opera. He didn't know at the time. It was Turandot. He got cancer. He went to Switzerland for treatments, and of course in 1922 they could do very little for cancer. He was a maestro, a teacher. He had a lot of young musicians he was teaching, and he told them, if I don't finish this work, I want you to finish it for me. He said, here's the story, here's the libretto, here's these are the characters, here's the arias I've already for this character and that character, here's the themes that I have developed for the overture. I think you need another theme for this. You need another aria for here. You need this, and so forth. So he died in 1924, and in 1926, his students put Turandot on for the first time. Halfway through, it was directed by maybe his most famous pupil, Arturo Toscanini. Halfway through, Toscanini stopped the opera, turned to the people, and said, "Thus far the master wrote." Some of the people were very upset. Don't pull this on us. We came for a full opera. We're enjoying it. Some of them even cried. When they bubbled down a little bit, he took the baton, banged it on the podium, and he said, "Got to get that silence." He said, "But we, his disciples, have finished his work. It's a beautiful work." So the work, we have to continue doing it, whatever we do. I talked to some of our older priests, and their job, what do they do now? They pray and they offer their sufferings. They can't be active anymore. But there's always something we can do to help other people along. Prayer may do far more than our activity, if you don't know. So loving God, we thank you for telling us what pains of life are about. If we bring you into it, bring Jesus into it, you'll give us the grace to face it. And you'll turn it into good. You won't allow us to go into bitterness and the festering that goes on with that. You know each one of us here, Lord, where we are on our journey. We invite you in fully. Every blessing you want to give, every part of us you want to free. We ask you to free us so that we will be more happy with life we still have, be more helpful to others, and not beyond that, to be more ready when you call us home. We thank you and ask this blessing for all your children through Christ our Lord. May God bless you all. I hope you have a wonderful